Alright guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. To follow kind of like the yearly tradition of what I've been doing, this is NFL Sportsdeck. NFL being the American version of football, if you're unaware. Pretty sure it's like one of the, probably like the second biggest sport in the world. So every year we've kind of been going through this. It's a good kind of like stopgap between Supercoach and like NFL fantasy drafts and stuff like that. It's a kind of in between. In terms of Supercoach stuff, I am so burnt out. It's even hard to watch football. I'm so burnt out. But anyway, NFL season starts, I believe, September, I want to say 13th. Might be 11th. Pardon me. Yeah, I think it's around about then. But yeah, so we'll go through the team and I'll kind of explain a couple of players. If you're like unaware of the website I'm using, it's Sportsdeck. It's another version of a fantasy game that does the Supercoach format. So I'm not the biggest fan of like the draft format, which is mostly what Americans play. I call this like a pick'em format, because like it's really like you just pick players. There's no like drafting to it. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but some people are. So if you want to play that, there's other websites for it. But if you want to play the Supercoach style, this is a good website for it. They do heaps of sports as well. So like you've got AFL on here. It does follow the Dream Team format. The only thing with that is like, why wouldn't you just play fantasy, right? Like it's the same scoring, I believe. NRL, I think you've got Supercoach as well. NBA, I'll be making one of them later in the year. EPL, I was gonna make content for it this year, but let's be honest, I'll do 2 weeks and then forget about it. A-League, nobody watches that. Cricket, rugby, Grand Prix, Supercars, MotoGP, and then the Euros. I think they also do the World Cup when that's on. Alright, so getting into it. Quarterbacks, who am I gonna take? It's kind of a weird year for quarterbacks, so kind of like how you'd think in Supercoach. I don't think it's ever worth paying for the top guys. Maybe Lamar, because Lamar's this dual threat QB. Like he can pass the ball, right? Maybe he's not Mahomes accurate, but like he's a very good thrower of the football. But he can also just like outrun running backs, right? He can outrun everyone. He has trimmed down this year, so I think his tank is going to be a bit better. I think he said he's lost somewhere in around like 20 pounds or something like that, which is crazy. Yeah, I mean, you could go him. That's probably the only one of these top guys I'd pick. Jalen Hurts had a great year last year, and considering the Eagles still fell off and he was scoring good, he's probably a good option, but I don't think for 24 million it's the play. Stroud had a great year, and I expect him to go big again. Mahomes is the best player in the NFL, so you could. I mean, he's 20 million. I think there's better bargains, like the lower you go. But like some guys that I just instantly check, like not even touch. Kyler Murray coming off multiple injuries, wouldn't touch. Herbert's going to start the season injured. Fields, Wilson, no one knows who's starting. Goff had a good year last year, and I actually did think about picking him this year, but once I saw the price, I thought, nah, that's not happening. Trevor Lawrence does need to step it up this year, but I don't think the team's really gotten him any help at all. And I think a lot of Jacksonville's problems weren't actually QB play. I think it was basically everything else except QB play. But for QB1, I'm going to go Tua. So mindset here is Miami's offense is so fast, so fun, so much like through the air, 2 by air, 1 by sea. Like it's just throw the ball. Tua's not that accurate, which is why his numbers aren't as high as the other guys. He did also have a injury last year. I think it was like he was clearly concussed, but then they finagled their way through the doctors and he was able to play again. I'll take it because Miami's opening fixture isn't too bad. So where do I see that? I have seen it on here before. Jacksonville, their defense isn't what it used to be. Buffalo in Miami isn't the worst, especially with Buffalo basically like doing a fire sale on their defense, right? Um, Seattle in Seattle's never easy, but I do expect Miami to be better this year than they were last year. Tennessee in Miami is a good one. New England in New England isn't amazing, but they are like New England's probably going to get another top three pick. So, and then Indy, Arizona, like of the first like 9 or 10, I'd say like 7 or 8 of them are good games. That once they start running and they get their offense going, Tyreek starts running and Waddle is like a great second option who can also like run every team out of the building. Yeah, I think it's a good pick. And then number 2, because he's super underpriced because of an injury last year, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. I basically can't see how this fails, Burrow here. He'd have to get injured again for it to not work. And when you look at like the 16 mil, like Deshaun Watson, I don't really want any part of. Neither does any woman in the Cleveland area. Anthony Richardson was a guy that I was like, I might take a punt on if he's like 10 million. He only played 4 games, so I did think he was going to be discounted a fair bit. Didn't happen. I don't think this game really does discounts at all. It's just what you averaged into their formula. That's why you have guys like Jake Browning. Like, he shouldn't be as high as he is. Daniel Jones, someone worth maybe taking a punt on. Like, he's seemingly a bit more healthy this year. He hasn't had a great preseason, but yeah, maybe. Aaron Rodgers is a guy that I've kind of moved in and out. I've gone with Burrow and Rodgers a little bit. Rodgers has to have a good year, right? Like, he's got weapons everywhere. He's got Breece Hall in the backfield. He's got Garrett Wilson. He's got Mike Williams, who will play 2 games. I'd imagine at some point they trade for Devontae Adams. Defense is solid. O-line is way better than it was last year. I could see it working. But at the same time, you know, he is 40 now, so he could just take one bad fall and then now you're stuck having to find a QB in this range, right? Which, say that did happen, probably either have to go Daniel Jones or Bryce Young. Bryce Young at least is a guaranteed QB1. So, onto the rookie. Same as Supercoach, you just really put rookies on bench. I'm going to go Caleb Williams. Very good offense. The Bears did a great job in the offseason. Amazing job. I think their defense could have used an extra player, but amazing job from the Bears. Got Caleb in. Got Odunze. Got they kept. It's not Darcy Moore. Too much football. Like, they kept all their guys in, so they had a really good off-season. I don't know how much it's going to convert. What is their fixture? So I don't know if you could... Oh, it's not going to say, is it? Because he hasn't played any games. Tennessee week 1's not bad. Is that in Chicago? I don't know if that's Chicago. So they've changed the name of their stadium a couple of times now. Running backs. So I think Breece Hall's easy one because they're not going to have Rodgers throw it 50 times a game. McCaffrey, I think, is just a bit too expensive. He's probably my favourite of these running backs to watch, but I think 24 mil is a bit too expensive, especially given San Francisco will have to change up their offense a little bit this year. Because it's really do or die year for them. If they don't win a Super Bowl this year, I think this current team build will be looked at as a failure. So, wait and see with McCaffrey. Might be something where you have to just trade him in, give up another guy to bring him in. We'll see. Kyren Williams, I think, is a little overpriced. If he was a bit cheaper, say in the 16 to 17 to 18 mil range, it's an option. Mostert is really good, but that's a high price to pay. Same with a chain. So I think it's a chain. I used to say Arcane, or something like that, but I think it's a chain. Yeah, again, a bit too expensive. Like, they are going to get their points. Miami is going to run the ball, run it fast, and run it a lot, and pass it a lot, and pass it far, and pass it fast. They are the best offense to watch in the league. Even better than Mahomes' offense. Like, it's insane. Kamara is someone that there probably is value to, but he's a bit older now. I'm not a fan of bringing in older running backs because I think that the injury history does catch up to him. Breece Hall, like I said, he's going to get a lot of it, and he's really like their only good running back. He's going to have the red zone carries. He's going to have everything. In that spirit, the next guy is Jonathan Taylor. So he's a locked-in running back number one. He will be taking the red zone carries. He will get a lot of carries per game because they are not going to give Anthony Richardson scrambling opportunities after last year. Or at least not designed runs for Richardson. I don't mind it. Like, you look at the points and the averages and stuff, he does track with everyone else, and he played less games. He did hold out for a while, and then I think there was a little bit of a injury problem at the end of the year. Yeah, I don't mind Jonathan Taylor here. A couple of years ago, he was probably the best running back in the league. We'll take it, 16 mil. It's the same price as a lot of these other guys. And then next is Saquon. He's been good in New York. Even if he stayed in New York, this would be a pick. Going to Philly with like how good they are at just scheming their offensive line to get guys open down the field. It's easy pick. If he was 18 mil, this is the guy I'd make the exception for and pick him. This it's a guaranteed good pick, right? Saquon. Just making sure that the mic was on because I have recorded a couple of things and then the mic hasn't been working. I got scared for a second because I didn't see the bars. So Saquon, I think is a pretty good pick here. 15 mil. Most people are picking him as well. This is kind of cookie cutter, but it's smart. You're picking smart players. Mixon was a guy that I've kind of been on and off of. I don't know how many carries he's going to get. He could get heaps, and they kind of like, alright, we've seen what Stroud can do. Now let's go with a more NFL normalized offense, which involves the running back a lot more. It's possible, and I mean Mixon was scoring good behind Burrow as well. We'll see. It's one of those like worst case scenario. Say one of Hall or Taylor doesn't work, I can't just go down to Mixon. It's not too big a problem. Derrick Henry. Alright, so this seems like a very easy pick, but I'm not doing it. I think that there's something up here. I think it's just too good to be true. He will have the red zone carries. He's going to have a fair amount of carries per game as well. But he is a bit older now. And a couple of those injuries are starting to add up. Last year, he didn't miss games, but he had games where he wasn't getting the amount of carries he normally has. I start recording and now I just feel so congested and everything. Give me 1 second. Alright, that should fix it for a bit. Bijan is a guy that like a lot of people are hopping on, 50% owned. It's another one. It's just an easy pick, right? Like new coach, new system, right? Like I think this is an easy one. I'll be honest. I'm just looking at my team. Like I have, so this is kind of me doing it. I'm looking at the last like version of the team I made and thinking I could probably do it a bit better. I'm gonna drop Breece Hall. Who am I gonna drop him for? I might. This is a guy that I've kind of had in and out. I'm gonna go with Zach Moss. With Mixon out, I think Moss is their starting running back. And since he have used their running back a fair bit, James Cook is an option as well. I think Pollard might have a good year. The only thing with Pollard is like how much was he just benefiting from the Cowboys O line? Najee is probably a good pick as well. Zeke, I mean, he's going to be the red zone back. He'll get the touchdowns, but not much else. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do this, and then for rookies, we'll go with who do I have? So rookies for running backs is always hard. It's hard to find people that are gonna play. So Corum, I think he's hurt at the moment, and I think he's actually their third string running back or second string. But I'm going to pick him just because he's probably got the highest chance of ever seeing the field of these guys. Now that I see it, Naheem Hines could play. He was pretty good for the Colts last year as a returner. I want to say it was the Colts. Anyone else here? So I did pick Deuce Vaughn, but I'm hearing things that he might not be the kind of like carry back. He probably wouldn't have the red zone shots either way, but Miles Sanders probably has to come back from last year. Rico Dowdle. I'll go with Dowdle. It's between Dowdle and what was the other dude's name? Deuce Vaughn. It's between them to see who's like the Cowboys' actual number one back. Zeke will do the red zone work. He'll be the just bigger back that has to run through a guy, but these guys are fast. They'll get most of the carries per game. It's impossible to know who's playing what and who's number one. So with receivers, this is kind of interesting because I swear I heard Tyreek is injured. He did his hammy or something like that in the off season. Still going to pick him. It's the Miami offense, right? Like I'd even bring in a Miami running back if there was a good priced one. But yeah, I mean, he'll run up and down the field. He'll get you your points. Next is CD. This is one where he might come from the team. So I've got him in most of my drafts. Call it Cowboys fan, but last year he was really good. 43% owned. He's gonna, if he plays, he'll have another good season. He's the only receiver that can catch the ball in the Cowboys offense. So Lamb, I think if he plays, I'll keep him in. If something comes out that he's going to miss week 1, I'm just going to take him out. Next, Amon-Ra. He's just so talented as a young guy, so he has to take another step forward, though. So how old is Amon-Ra now? I want to say about 27, 28. He's kind of getting to that time where it's like you either hit top receiver in the league or you kind of just stay down the bottom. I think that's a pretty easy one, honestly. Everyone's picking him as well. The Lions will have another good year. I don't see them falling off. Then I'm going to have Nico. So people are going to go with Stephon. Actually, people aren't. I think Stephon's just going to get double covered every game. So even if I think Diggs is kind of washed now, not crazy, but I don't think he's the guy he used to be. Nico's gonna just pick up the slack, right? He'll be there. He'll take. If Nico's 1-on-1, then Nico's gonna win most of the time. He's fast. He's good with his hands and everything. And Stroud's really good at placing the ball. So even if there's only a little bit of room, Stroud can get it in there. He's pretty good at that. And last year Nico was used a lot, so it's not going to go from used a lot to used nothing at all. Same can be said for Tank Dell. Now they've got him down as Nathaniel Dell. I'm pretty sure he still just goes down as Tank. That's the name he prefers. But I don't think Nico's a bad pick. There's a lot of these guys. So Jamar's a good pick. Like I could be talked into drop Nico, bring in Chase, bring in AJ Brown, bring in DJ Moore, bring in Devontae Adams, bring in DK, bring in Olave. Devontae Smith probably not. Waddle, yes, definitely. I probably wouldn't go weak Tyreek and Waddle, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Saying them together is a tongue twister. Cup coming off a down year, he's probably got to pick it up again. I mean, any receiver that's with Aaron Rodgers is probably going to have a good year, even if Mike Williams is only going to play 2 games. Pickens will have a better year. I'm going with Garrett Wilson. Same thing I was just saying. Put a receiver with Aaron Rodgers and they're probably going to have a good year. And if they don't, it's mostly on the receiver and not on Rodgers. But like, there's a lot of guys here. Like, I think Shaheed was good last year and should take another step. Dobbs was good last year, should take another step. Judy, I've always thought like had potential, but he's just not done anything. So I'm guessing he's just gonna be a mid to low tier receiver forever. Josh Downs should take another step. JSN he showed flashes last year. I don't think he was really like all that, but he showed stuff. I think Shakir is like one of the guys that they're going to be focusing on this year for Bills offense. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys here. Even like Quentin Johnston, isn't it? Yeah. I have, make sure I don't miss him. It's one of the rookies. Marvin Harrison. He's just going to get like they've just got to throw it to him endlessly. You could go Odunze here. Am I going to go Odunze here? I don't think so. I'm going to go with... Who is he? He's 36. Okay, so down a little bit. Adonai Mitchell. Watching a fair bit of Texas last year, I think this was kind of like one of the big steals of the draft was Adonai like dropping so far. I think he was definitely like on the level of the later first round players that were getting picked. It's just like the whole politics of you can't take a receiver here, you can't take a running back here, you have to take this position. I get it, but also like if you're gonna take him anyway, why not just take him when he's available? And then last one, I think this is like a must pick. Ownership's not that crazy, but like I think this is a must pick. So where is he? He's down here. Xavier Worthy. Somehow the Chiefs got the fastest player in the NFL again. So he set the record for fastest. What's it called? It's like the 40-yard dash. The fastest ever in NFL history. The fastest 40-yard dash ever. And then they gave him to Patrick Mahomes, who won Super Bowls with Tyreek Hill, who at the time was the fastest in the NFL. So now you've just given him the fastest in the NFL again. I mean, that's, yeah. I think it's an easy pick. I think that he's guaranteed to get his touches and catches and stuff like that and targets. On to tight ends. Back up, please. So, tight end 1 is a hard spot, I think. Paying up for these guys, it's like all the tight ends basically get the same amount of points. Like, if you look at the averages, there's 4 guys at 22. Most of the guys are, like, within the same realm of points they're scoring. I'm going to Trey McBride. So the idea here is new offense in Arizona. Has to get... I forgot his name. No, quarterback. If I just do this, damn, it's not going to. What's his name? Kyler Murray. It's going to get him involved more in throwing the ball. He's got Marvin Harrison Jr. on one side. He's got Trey McBride, who showed glimpses last year. When you're playing with a backup QB for most of the season, it's pretty hard to show stuff. And then next I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts. Same thing. New offense. Kirk Cousins loves his tight ends. If they swap to Penix, he should also use his tight ends a fair bit. Surely Pitts actually gets targets this year. He's been so underrated from was it Arthur Smith, something like that. Was the play caller and stuff. I mean, he just wouldn't throw him the ball. He'd be wide open end zone like every week on Twitter. You'd see like the clip of him in the end zone jumping up and down. No one's even on his side of the field to defend him, and the ball just doesn't go anywhere near him. So yeah, I think that's not too bad there. And then Brock Bowers, really the only guy down here that's even worth a shot. Jelani Woods, I've heard good things about, but that's mostly because like Pat McAfee. Schoonmaker, I mean, he's still going to play like as a blocking tight end. I don't really see anyone here getting enough game time to matter. Yeah, nah, nothing's coming out. Darnell Washington was a Madden like goat last year. Onto kickers. I don't see why like I wouldn't just bring in the best. I think Aubrey only missed one field goal last year. I want to say like inside 50 yards or something like that. So I'm gonna go with him. I could just drop this like for the sake of just having a look how a team would work. Who's like solid? Moody's been good. Didn't have a good year last year though. No, actually, I mean he was okay last year. I wish it showed like makes and misses, but yeah, I guess it's too much to ask for. I mean Justin Tucker. He does miss, but he can also make him for like 65. And then just give me a rookie. Who's everyone picking? Yeah, alright, Jake Bates. I'll take it. Who is the Rams kicker this year? Because he might just be the number one option. I'll probably do it this way. LAR. Okay, so one of these guys is going to play and everyone's thinking it's Cardi. Last year I did this. The issue was, I think week one of them didn't play and then I was kind of screwed. I'm fine with paying that. I think that's fine. I think it's fine. And then for defense, so yeah, this is kind of where it's different to Supercoach. So instead of you're picking defensive players like you're just fullbacks, halfbacks, stuff like that, you actually pick a team's defense. I think the Jets is a kind of easy one. It's kind of underpriced when you look at 11 million. Like all these guys are over 10. The Jets had one of the best defenses last year. It kept them in most of their games. It's just your defense can only do so much when your offense can't put points on the board and keeps turning it over. The more your defense has to see the field, the more points they're going to give up. It's just nature of it. They can be great, but the more they're on the field, the more points they're going to give up. People get on the Niners. I see it. Bosa is still there, and they've still got like all their linebackers, Fred Warner and everything in there. I think a year on, I mean, you could, but it's the same price. I think I prefer the Jets, especially with Rodgers playing. Like he'll manage the game a lot better than a Zach Wilson or something like that. So yeah, I don't mind it. In terms of bargain guys, Texans defense got better. Chiefs defense is solid, but they can give up points. It's just like sometimes Mahomes just outscores the other team. Bengals should be better. They copped a lot of injuries last year, so they should be better this year. Chargers I wouldn't touch. Bears are going to be better than they were last year, definitely. I mean, Chargers, it's the Harbaugh effect, right? They're going to find guys. Like, no one's going to like suspect anyone to be like the breakout guy on the Chargers defense or anything. I would not be surprised if that one pops up. Or like three pop up and they're all like in contention for like the most improved player. The Rams are going to fall off. No Aaron Donald, which means no quarterback pressure. They do have another guy. I think his last name's Bryant. Oh no, his first name's Kobe, but his last name's not Bryant. Yeah, they're going to fall off. They're just not going to be able to pressure QB at all. Falcons have got a lot better. I just can't afford them. Maybe if I did go with the double rookie kicker, I don't know. I'm gonna go with. I've done something here, because why can't I afford the guys I've got the Falcons picked. I'm gonna do the 2 rookies. It's a bit weird, but I'm gonna give it a shot. After this, I'm gonna search up like what the depth chart is for the Rams, and then I'm gonna go the Falcons. How much does that leave me? It leaves me 6 mil. That means I can go Moss up to someone that I prefer. So high price. Who was that? Frank Gore Jr. I was like, Frank Gore Sr. definitely isn't still playing. Screw up. I'll go Derrick Henry, right? Like, why not? I mean, yeah, okay, whatever. I'll do that. 3 mil in the bank. That will be enough for like the first couple of trades. I don't know if I showed you at the start. It's like 250 million or something you get to pick. So that's going to be my team. In terms of what I would change, I mean, this is just a draft of a team, right? It's not like I'm sticking to this 100%. I don't know if I'm going to keep Henry. I think the injury concern is a bit too high. Lamb might have to get dropped if he doesn't play. If CD doesn't play, who do I get? Probably just. I mean, Jefferson's playing with like bad QB. I mean, Sam Darnold's throwing it to him. I'd imagine they just kind of like single target him and they write it off for the year and just give Jefferson like 1,000,000 yards, right? It's possible. You could go like that, and then that gave me 6 mil, so I could actually just go Nico Collins out as well. Could do something like that, which would then allow me to upgrade the kicker here. Go with Butker's good. I mean, Falcons should be better, right? Get into more kicking opportunities. Should be. It's not actually too bad an option, because Koo can kick far as well. Graham can no. I mean, I'm gonna go with Butker. Go with that. I think that's all right. So this is kind of like the if CD doesn't play team. I mean, if he doesn't play week 1, I'm just not gonna pick him, because that means it's going to go on through the season that he's like unhappy. So I'm just not going to pick him. I don't really want any of that. Quarterbacks I'm pretty happy with. Could drop one of these guys and go with just rookies, because I think this year's rookie class is really good. I just don't think I really need to. Then running backs I'm pretty happy with outside Henry. Receivers, I'm happy with Tyreek if he's healthy. Amon-Ra I'm happy with. Jed I'm happy with. I mean, not happy, but I could see it working. I could see it being really good. Nico I'm pretty happy with. Wilson I'm pretty happy with. And then the rookies I'm pretty good with. I mean, I'm fine with this. Like, who would I go up to? Like, probably be Hawkinson, but that's a big jump. Ferguson I'm not touching because of the Dak situation. Yeah, probably be Hawkinson or Laporta, which, I mean, that's, what, 3 mil I have to make up? Almost 4? I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to do that. McBride back in. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so I'll probably make a league after this. If you see like a highlighted comment below, it will have the league code. Feel free to join. But yeah, so I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys give this a shot if you're into the NFL. Yeah, I'll see you all next time. Tasty out.